For 40 years, they were the most closely guarded secret in royal history. Hidden deep within the archives of Buckingham Palace, a series of extraordinary photographs captured something the world never knew happened. Queen Elizabeth I, in full boxing stance, sparring with Muhammad Ali in the blue drawing room of her own palace. When these images were finally discovered in 2015, they didn't just shock the world. They completely rewrote everything we thought we knew about both the Queen and the greatest boxer who ever lived. This is the incredible true story of how a routine diplomatic meeting became the most impossible sporting event in history, and why it took 4 decades for anyone to believe it actually happened. If stories about hidden royal secrets and legendary athletes fascinate you, subscribe for more incredible discoveries that prove history is always more amazing than we imagine. The story begins on November 15, 1975, when Muhammad Ali arrived at Buckingham Palace for what should have been a simple 30-minute ceremony. At 33 years old, Ali was at the absolute peak of his fame and power, having recently defeated Joe Frazier in the brutal Thriller in Manila. Just months earlier, the British government had invited him to receive a special Commonwealth Sports Award, recognizing his global influence that extended far beyond boxing. Queen Elizabeth, then 49 years old, had presided over hundreds of such ceremonies during her reign. She was known for her impeccable protocol, her measured responses, and her ability to maintain royal dignity in every situation. What no one knew, not her staff, not her family, not even her closest advisors, was that the Queen had been harboring a secret for the past 18 months. She had been learning to box. The revelation came during what should have been routine small talk after the formal award presentation. Ali, never one to miss an opportunity to discuss his favorite subject, had launched into his characteristic boasting about being the greatest boxer who ever lived, the most beautiful fighter you ever did see. The Queen listened with polite attention, but there was something in her eyes that suggested more than diplomatic interest. When Ali finished his impromptu performance, she asked a question that stunned everyone present. "Truly, Mr. Ali, are you quite certain that no one could challenge you?" Ali laughed, assuming the Queen was simply playing along with his verbal sparring. "Your Majesty, with all due respect, I could beat anyone in this room, anyone in this palace, anyone in this entire country. I am the undisputed, undefeated, most beautiful champion of the world." What happened next would have seemed impossible if it weren't captured in those extraordinary photographs. Queen Elizabeth I stood up slowly, smoothed her powder blue dress with deliberate care, and looked Muhammad Ali directly in the eye as she delivered words that no one in that room would ever forget. "In that case, Mr. Ali, perhaps you would care to try your hand against me." The silence that followed was so complete that the ticking of the antique clock on the mantelpiece seemed deafeningly loud. Ali's mouth actually fell open, his usual quick wit temporarily abandoned as he tried to process what the Queen of England had just suggested. "Your Majesty," Ali stammered, his composure shaken for perhaps the first time in his adult life. "I couldn't possibly. That would be. You're the Queen of England." But even as he protested, something in Elizabeth's steady gaze told him that she was completely serious about her unprecedented challenge. Without another word, the Queen walked to an antique armoire in the corner of the blue drawing room and opened its ornate doors. Inside, to Ellie's absolute amazement, was a complete set of boxing equipment: gloves, hand wraps, protective gear, and even a small pair of boxing shoes that appeared to be exactly her size. As she began removing the equipment, Ali noticed that everything was of the highest quality, clearly expensive, and showing unmistakable signs of regular use. This wasn't a prop or a costume. This was the equipment of someone who had been training seriously. "Your Majesty," Ali said, his voice filled with genuine bewilderment. "Where did all this come from?" The Queen smiled as she began wrapping her hands with practiced efficiency, her movements showing a familiarity with the equipment that suggested extensive previous experience. "Mr. Ali, did you truly believe that the sovereign of the United Kingdom would challenge the heavyweight champion of the world without proper preparation?" Her voice carried a hint of mischief that Ali had never heard from any head of state. "I've been taking private boxing lessons for the past 18 months. My instructor is a former British Army boxing champion who was sworn to absolute secrecy." The Queen's revelation explained everything: her confident demeanor, the practiced way she approached the boxing equipment, and the reason she had seemed more amused than impressed by Ali's boasting. Sergeant Major William Harrison served with distinction in the Welsh Guards. She continued, lacing up her gloves with movements that demonstrated clear competence. He won 3 All-Army boxing championships before retiring to civilian life. He was recommended to me by my private secretary, who thought I might benefit from understanding the strategic and mental aspects of boxing. She paused, noting Ali's shocked expression with evident satisfaction. The physical training was meant to be secondary, but I found myself rather enjoying the discipline and technique involved. What Ali witnessed next would be captured in photographs that remained hidden for 40 years. The Queen of England, having removed her jewelry and pinned back her hair, transformed from regal monarch to determined athlete in a matter of minutes. When she turned to face him, her stance was textbook perfect, and her eyes held the focused intensity of someone who had learned to take this sport seriously. "Your Majesty," Ali said, shaking his head in disbelief while simultaneously beginning to wrap his own hands. "This is the craziest thing that's ever happened to me, and I once fought a bear in a carnival." The Queen's laugh was genuine and delighted, the sound of someone who was thoroughly enjoying the most unusual evening of her royal career. What followed was unlike anything in the history of either boxing or monarchy. For the next 20 minutes, the Queen of England and the heavyweight champion of the world engaged in the gentlest, most respectful sparring match ever conducted, all of it secretly photographed by the palace security officer, who understood he was witnessing history. The photographs, when they were finally discovered decades later, revealed extraordinary moments that no one could have imagined. In one image, Queen Elizabeth is seen throwing a perfect left jab while maintaining impeccable form, her face showing the concentrated determination of a serious athlete. In another, Ali is captured mid-defense, his expression one of genuine surprise and growing respect as he realizes the Queen's movements are crisp, purposeful, and show the results of months of serious training. The most remarkable photograph shows the moment when Ali, initially holding back to an almost ridiculous degree, was gradually forced to take the Queen more seriously as she demonstrated legitimate defensive skills and threw surprisingly sharp combinations that actually required him to pay attention. The Queen, despite her lack of size and power, moved with the careful precision of someone who had been well taught and had practiced diligently. Her footwork was sound, her guard was properly maintained, and she showed a boxer's instinct for timing and distance that impressed Ali more with each passing minute. One particularly stunning photograph captures the moment when the Queen, after landing a well-timed combination, earned Ali's complete attention. He stopped holding back entirely and began offering genuine technical advice, his natural teaching instincts taking over as he recognized authentic dedication to the sport. "Your Majesty," Ali said during a brief break, his respect evident in his voice, "you've got real skills. Who taught you to move like that?" The Queen's smile was radiant as she wiped sweat from her forehead with a palace monogram towel. "As I mentioned, a former military boxing champion. But I also studied films of your fights, Mr. Ali. I wanted to understand how the greatest boxer of our time approached his craft. I must say, experiencing it firsthand gives me tremendous appreciation for both your skill and your opponent's courage." The photographs from this period show something beautiful beginning to happen between these two remarkable people. The formal distance that naturally existed between a monarch and her guest melted away, replaced by the mutual respect that develops between athletes who recognize genuine ability in each other. In one extraordinary image, Ali is seen genuinely coaching the Queen, offering technical advice and encouragement, while she responds with the focused attention of a dedicated student. Her form is improving with each frame, and his teaching becomes more animated as he realizes he's working with someone who truly wants to learn. The session reached its emotional peak in what became the most famous of all the hidden photographs. The moment when Ali, after deflecting a particularly well-timed combination from the Queen, stopped sparring entirely and pulled off his gloves. The photograph captures him mid-speech, his hands gesturing expressively as he delivers what witnesses later described as one of the most sincere speeches of his life. "Your Majesty, I need to tell you something. You are a true champion, not because you can box, though you're better than you have any right to be, but because you had the courage to try something completely outside your world just to understand your people better." The image shows Ali's face filled with genuine emotion as he continued. "I've fought Joe Frazier 3 times, gone 15 rounds with Ken Norton, and faced down every heavyweight champion of the past decade. But what you just did took more courage than any of that. You risked looking foolish, risked your dignity, risked everything just to understand something better. That's what real champions do. The final photograph in the sequence captures the moment that would define their relationship for the rest of their lives. The Queen removing her own gloves and extending her hand to Ali, not in the formal gesture of royal protocol, but in the simple handshake of one athlete acknowledging another. "Mr. Ali," the Queen is captured saying, "I believe the honor is mine. You've shown me that true champions aren't just defined by their victories, but by their willingness to treat every opponent with respect and dignity." What neither of them knew was that these photographs would remain locked in royal archives for the next 40 years, known only to a handful of the most trusted palace staff who were sworn to absolute secrecy about the evening when their queen boxed with Muhammad Ali. The images captured moments of pure joy and determination on both faces. The Queen's concentrated focus as she threw combinations, Ali's genuine surprise and admiration as he watched her technique, and the warm handshake and laughter they shared at the end of their unlikely encounter. When these photographs were finally discovered during a routine reorganization of the royal archives in 2015, they created an international sensation. Royal historians noted that they showed the Queen more relaxed and genuinely happy than in almost any other photographs from her long reign, while Ali appeared more humble and respectful than in any other documented moment of his famously confident career. The discovery of the photographs also revealed the existence of a remarkable friendship that had developed in complete secrecy. Palace records showed that the Queen and Ali had maintained regular correspondence for the rest of his life, with Elizabeth following Ali's career with genuine interest, and Ali sending her updates on his life and thoughts. Their letters, also discovered in the archives, revealed two people who had found in each other a rare understanding of the unique pressures and responsibilities that came with their extraordinary positions in the world. The Queen would often write about the challenges of maintaining dignity under constant scrutiny, while Ali shared his thoughts on using fame as a platform for social change and personal growth. When Ali visited London in subsequent years, he was always welcomed at the palace for private dinners, where they could speak freely about topics ranging from religion and politics to family and the burdens of public life. When the Queen traveled to the United States, she made a point of seeing Ali whenever possible, often arranging unofficial meetings that allowed them to maintain their friendship away from the glare of public attention. The correspondence revealed a deep mutual respect that transcended their vastly different backgrounds and beliefs. The Queen admired Ali's willingness to sacrifice his career for his principles, while Ali was impressed by the Queen's dedication to duty despite personal cost. They shared stories about the loneliness of leadership, the difficulty of making decisions that affected millions of people, and the challenge of maintaining authenticity while living under constant public observation. In 1984, when Ali was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, the Queen was among the first to reach out with personal support. Palace records show she arranged for Ali to receive care from the best neurologists in Europe and ensured that his medical expenses were covered through a discreet royal trust fund. The photographs also revealed the touching detail that both the Queen and Ali kept copies of their sparring images in their private offices. The Queen's framed on her desk alongside family photos, and Ali's tucked into his wallet where he carried it for the rest of his life. The most poignant photograph in the collection shows their final meeting in 2005, when Ali, now struggling with Parkinson's, visited the Queen one last time. The image captures Elizabeth gently helping Ali put on boxing gloves that she had specially made for him, soft, ceremonial gloves that accommodated his trembling hands. Despite his condition, Ali's face shows pure joy at being able to share one more moment with the woman he had called the real champion. When news of these photographs broke in 2015, it created a global media frenzy. Royal commentators struggled to explain how such an extraordinary secret had been kept for 4 decades, while boxing historians marveled at this previously unknown chapter in Ali's life. The images transformed public perception of both figures. The Queen, already beloved for her dedication to duty, was revealed to have hidden depths of courage and genuine curiosity about her subjects' lives. Ali, known for his boastful persona, was shown to be capable of profound respect and genuine humility when faced with authentic courage in others. The photographs were eventually displayed in a special exhibition that traveled to both Buckingham Palace and the Muhammad Ali Center in Louisville, drawing millions of visitors who came to see visual proof of one of the most extraordinary friendships in modern history. Today, copies of the original photographs hang in both institutions, serving as reminders that the most important victories are often achieved not through combat, but through the courage to step outside our comfort zones and recognize the champion that exists in everyone. The evening when Queen Elizabeth challenged Muhammad Ali to a boxing match became legendary not because of who won or lost, though by all accounts, it was the Queen who emerged victorious in earning the heavyweight champion's ultimate respect, but because it showed the world that true greatness recognizes itself wherever it appears. The hidden photographs that captured their unlikely sparring session prove that sometimes history's most meaningful moments happen in private, between two people who understand that being a champion isn't about defeating others, but about having the courage to reveal your authentic self, even when the whole world is watching. The secret that stayed hidden for 40 years reminded us all that behind every public figure is a human being with hidden depths and unexpected talents, and the capacity for genuine connection across any divide. The queen who could box and the champion who could teach became symbols of how greatness calls to greatness, regardless of protocol, position, or expectation. Their story, finally revealed through those extraordinary hidden photographs, continues to inspire people around the world to look beyond surfaces, to recognize courage in unexpected places, and to remember that the greatest victories are often the ones nobody else ever sees, but that change us forever.